8 days have passed since January 6th. The Magic Commander community has mommy issues, and every day it seems like we're getting closer to living in the Fallout universe. That and more on tonight's episode. Stay tuned. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to Daily Nights. I'm your host, Treasonous Truths, and joining me today, as always, is my amazing co-host, Daddy Sins. Say hello to the ladies and gentlemen listening tonight, Daddy Sins.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Daddy Sins in the house tonight. It's Valentine's Day, so hope you all stayed safe, happy, and watch out for them Hello Kitty girls out there.
I was about to say that goddamn line.
Okay.
Yeah, I was about to say that too. I was saying, all you folks out there, be careful, gentlemen. Them Hello Kitty. Yeah, exactly. Hello Kitty girls are out there and they're stalking their prey. You might be it.
So for all the bros and the homies out there, keep your notifications on. And keep your whereabouts on located so the bros can come save you.
You know, all of a sudden we find my iPhone on Ernie, and all of a sudden his thing just disappears off the map. We're like, oh shit, they've gotten to him.
They've gotten to him. We got to go save him now.
It's of the utmost important. Save the Ernie, save the world. That's the season of heroes they didn't want you watching, or well, they never bothered to make either.
Shit, well, damn.
But with that being said, speaking of Valentine's Day, JB, you've been telling me about this special lady in your life. A certain lady who's, say, good with her hands, knows how to handle some metal, and isn't afraid to get dirty with some oil. Can you elaborate more on that?
Oh, that's where you're going. I was about to say, dude, I'm single. In my mind, I'm like,
you fucking killed my segue.
Sorry. Dude, I'm not even kidding you. In my mind, I'm like, no, I'm still single, but like, I'm gonna just let it go with them. I don't know what he's talking about. And then it just clicked in my head right now what you're talking about. So,
well, there goes my segue, folks. JV, go ahead.
I blame myself. Yes, I will blame
it's okay. Sometimes I'm a little too subtle with it. I need to be a little bit more direct and be like, so anyway, JB, you've been telling me that there's this card. She's all the way from the mean streets of Phyrexia, or New Phyrexia.
So the previous set was called New Phyrexia. So even though this is called Phyrexia, all will be 69. This would be New Phyrexia squared. You know, I do so like the
all
iPhone.
Will be 69 squared?
Something like that. So you know, the iPhone is like iPhone 14 Pro, or like what they used to do back then. And like an iPhone, and here's the iPhone 2 version. Oh god, what the fuck did they do?
So it was iPhone
squared, maybe.
Yeah. And they're like the iPhone Pro XI. So that was the last one that came out. I think it was like the 15X or something. But anyway, yeah, you've been telling me that there's a special lady in your life. You care to tell the audience more about her?
Yes. So for the audience out there, I will post, once I get everything, I will post a picture next week, because I have been, and you're going to cringe when I say this because I'm going to say it wrong on purpose.
I swear to God, if you say I'm going to reach through this microphone and strangle you.
But I have been completed.
You son of a bitch! The show is over. We are done. This is never happening ever again. That's it. I quit. This is the last Daily Nights episode.
I quit. We're done.
We're done. So yes, you've been completed. Go ahead.
Wow. You ever heard of the English dictionary?
English? No, but I have heard of English. So, but go on, good sir. Yes. Inform me of this English.
So, There's
Me
so
me rub you wrong time.
we rub you wrong time. No, don't worry. We'll save the we can save another episode for for the woke Velma show later. So
Oh, dude, I had to put myself through that shit. I don't want to do. There's no. I'm not watching season 2.
I'm
I am
surprised you
not.
didn't watch the first one.
I did it because I'm a huge Scooby Doo fan, and I was like, let me see. I could not stop looking at this train wreck, which is something else we'll be talking about later tonight, possibly. So I couldn't stop watching.
Wow,
What?
train wreck. It's only been like 2 days, right?
Yeah. It's a story that I've been following very closely. But anyway, yeah, I could not stop watching Velma because, well, one, I really like Scooby Doo and I wanted to see where it was going, and I was like, it might get better. It might get better. No, it didn't get any better. Just continually got worse to the point, like, literally the season finale ends with Velma twerking over, and I don't give a fuck about spoilers. It turns out Fred's mom, right? Freddie, from Fred and Daphne.
Yeah.
His mom was the killer, right? And so there's a part where they cause like a cave in, a stalactite or mite, whatever version of it is comes down and crushes her and kills her. It covers them in viscera, right? And then Velma starts twerking. Shaggy, aka Norville, pukes, and Fred and Daphne are just caught in like complete awe or shock while Velma's just twerking over this like woman's dead body. So anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, that's Velma. It's a garbage show. No one watch it. Just don't watch it. Don't watch season 2. Let it end with the second season, and that's that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
you
back
should
to
watch a better show like The Last of Us. But I'm gonna save that for later. I'm not shitting on it. I think it's actually pretty good. But it's not as bad as like I gotta throw it in there, Mike. You know what I'm saying? Resident Evil Netflix show.
oh
Butter
god,
knife.
that
Blade's cousin Butter Knife. Wesker.
I am Lance Riddick. I can't.
Seriously, don't do that. Stay to voice acting because you're really good at voice actor. Or do something else. Seriously.
Guardians, we must stop. We must stop Kaito from taking over the Citadel. Whatever the fuck that. What was it? The tower. There we go. The tower, not the Citadel. Whoa.
The tower, yes.
Yeah.
The tower.
Anyway, we're getting sidetracked as per usual. It's only 7 minutes
the
in.
new Magic the Gathering set Phyrexia all will be 69. Right? So we're pretty much back. We're on Phyrexia and everyone's trying to take down the almighty mother herself, Elesh Norn, the mother of machines. And all her glorious completed oil juices. Man, what?
I swear to God, go on.
Onlyfans.com/Elish. I meant, huh? Don't do OnlyFans. Onlyfans.com.
Dude, you are one thirsty motherfucker. Go on. You got to finish up with this Elesh Norn. What's the big deal by this Elesh Norn Mother of Machines card? I'm looking over it. I have 3 different versions of the card from just being incredibly lucky from pulling packs. It seems like a good card, but it doesn't seem like a broken card. So what's the big deal?
So yes. So when Elesh Norn, Mother of Machines, was spoiled back about, I would say at least a month ago, right? The Magic community, had a very there was a very, very how do I say, controversial reaction between when Elesh Norn was spoiled. Obviously, when I saw it, because I play Magic Gathering from an objective standpoint, I play cards that are either the most powerful it's the most powerful card for the deck theme I'm building. So I do have some pet cards and stuff like that, but or some pet decks that are kind of more meme decks, right? But overall, I play Magic Gathering from an objective standpoint. The most powerful, the most synergistic, the fastest way to win. What's the most efficient way to win? Hence, I play the best format, CDH, casual competitive, Elder Dragon Highland.
I'm fucking done. I hope any Magic listeners there are reading right now so hard.
For all the casual players out there that cringe when people talk about CDH, right?
Commander is a casual format. If you want to play competitive, go play Modern. God.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna get into to Sheldon memories about the philosophy of Commander, which I'm not saying it's not a bad philosophy, but there are some things on that I do question. That I do think he's not. I can't say right about, but he's not. He's definitely not right about it because it comes more from of a subjective viewpoint. So, Elesh Norn, Mother Machines, for the audience that doesn't know out there, she's 5 mana, 4 colors, 1 white, legendary creature, Phyrexian Praetor. For the people out there who don't know, now Phyrexian is a new card type. Not new card type, but the word Phyrexian was added to the card types, and some old cards text got there was like a change around it, so some older cards got added as in for Phyrexian creature subtype. So that was kind of new. Even though we've had in the story, yes, we'd had Phyrexians, but from the card type itself, the word Phyrexian is new on there.
Yeah, like for instance,
some older cards that are kind of quote Phyrexian.
Yeah, like Phyrexian Ironfoot. Like Phyrexian Ironfoot, for instance, is a artifact creature construct, right? That has the name Phyrexian but doesn't have the creature type Phyrexian. Or some early Phyrexians were called like horrors instead.
Mm-hmm. So if you played a card that said creatures not Urza's Saga, Urza's Incubator, which says all your creatures get +1/+1 for each creature of the same type, right? Same creature type. So if you have a bunch of like older Phyrexian cards and some new Phyrexian cards from the new set, they would all rock. You can just look up on the MTG Companion app, and it will say the correct wording on it. But so Elesh Norn has Vigilance, and she's a 4/7 for 5 mana. That's pretty good. she pretty thick. You know what I'm saying, Mike? She's pretty thick. She's got 7 toughness.
Go on.
I'm not thirsty, all right? Anyway.
No, not at all.
Hashtag mommy issues. Right. So she has 2 keyword abilities. So in a nutshell, her first ability is Panmamikon, or the correct term, Panharmonicon. Panharmonicon is a 4 mana artifact.
Wait, sorry, I need to interrupt you. Repeat that first part you said. Whaticon?
Panharmonicon?
No. The first time.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, say it again, please.
Panharmonicon.
Jesus, son of a bitch.
Go ahead. Meme community, Mike. MTG memes. All right.
No, I swear, the MTG meme community is like on point. I'm not gonna lie. I can't fault them on that. They're fucking fantastic. Go ahead. Keep explaining. Panharmonicon, yeah.
So Panharmonicon is a 4 mana artifact from Kaladesh that says if a artifact or creature entering the battle causes a triggered ability of a artifact creature you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. But Elesh Norn, what's different between Elesh Norn and Panharmonicon is Elesh Norn says if a permanent enters the battlefield, while Panharmonicon is a artifact or a creature. So now this also triggers for lands, for lands coming in, especially landfall. It works for enchantments. So it's pretty much it added lands and enchantments because you already could do artifacts and creatures. So it added 2 more. So pretty much, for instance, if you played Wall of Omens, for an example. So it's a 2 mana 0 for a wall that says when Wall of Omens enter the battlefield, draw a card. You have Elesh Norn in the battlefield. You play Wall of Omens. Wall of Omens enters the battlefield, triggers. Elesh Norn triggers. So Wall of Omens ability triggers twice. So you would draw 2 cards instead of 1. Right? Elesh Norn's second ability.
About time White got some draw power.
Oh, we've had it, but like White, this is an old card, but yeah, the stipulation for White has gone just pretty much. Elesh Norn kind of set the bar of like, all right, now people are saying, all right, White got too much, now we're done. We've complained too much. So for the people that complained about white not getting enough good cards or card draw anything, Wizards like, here you go, shut up now. Stop
But yet the
complaining
fans
about
still
white.
don't stop complaining.
Yep. Her second ability, it says permanents entering the battlefield don't cause abilities of permanents your opponents control to trigger. So Elesh Norn has her second ability, basically says if, say, you played an Elvish Visionary, which says Elvish Vision is another 2-mana elf that says ETB draw a card, and I had Elesh Norn, your end to the battlefield abilities will not trigger. That's for permanents. So another card that has that same ability, right, was actually printed in the old set New Phyrexia, right? Is Torpor Orb, which has pretty much the same which has almost the same effect. While Torpor Orb from New Phyrexia is a 2-mana artifact that says creatures entering the battlefield don't cause abilities to trigger. Elesh Norn says permanents entering the battlefield. So Elesh Norn essentially has two abilities of Panharmonicon and Torpor Orb, but instead of creatures or artifacts, Elesh Norn says permanents. So, like that, Elesh Norn just elevated those two abilities. So I don't know if you know, Mike, you probably know, but what was one of the cool things about what the Praetors have done is from the old Praetors and the new Praetors we have, is the Praetors always had an upside ability, right? That gave you an additional, like kind of like something additional, and their second ability was always a negative for your opponents.
Right.
So the older Elesh Norn says creatures you control get +2/+2. Creatures your opponents control get -2/-2. So every Praetor had always a net positive for you, and then the second ability is a net negative for you. So when she was spoiled, it caused a lot of controversy because obviously a lot of the Magic Gathering community these days now, they complain about power level of cards being busted, cards not being powerful enough. But the thing is, when we get a set of weak cards, it doesn't perform well financially. Wizards, they really don't care what the community says about a powerful card, because if they make a card and it has a powerful effect, they know it's going to attract attention. It's going to be more growth for them financially.
Yeah, people are going to crack packs in hopes of getting it, or people are going to go to the shop and maybe get through secondhand market or trades.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's funny because people are complaining. The MTG community, at least we'll say, have at least half of them are complaining about Elesh Norn's ability. Not either they forgot or didn't realize that we have a card that came out 3 years ago, right? That does what Elesh Norn already does, right?
Which
So
is
it was from Core Set 2020, the year of the pandemic, right?
right.
So it's called Yorak the Desecrated. It's a 5-mana Sultai creature, 2 colors, black, green, blue. It's a 3/5 with Death Touch lifelink that literally says what Elesh Norn's first ability says: if a permanent entering the battlefield. We've had this already. This was 3 years ago. Mind you, in the colors of Sultai, black, green, blue, which are objectively a stronger color than a single color, especially of mono white. The more colors your deck is, objectively your deck is going to be stronger and better
Yeah, because you have
than
more
a two
very
or a single color deck.
you have a variety of cards at your disposal. For instance, like if you're running a black deck against a black blue deck, the Dimir deck, which is black blue, by the way, folks who don't know the color naming schematic or nomenclature, is going to be stronger because you have counter and control spells that aren't available to you via only black.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A deck, when you're adding colors, will objectively obviously be a lot stronger. Now, what Elesh Norn's ability already does is, so she pretty much she adds power to a theme deck of what we already have in Magic Gathering or Century Commander, which is Enter the Battlefield effects or ETB's deck. They're very simple decks. They're a lot of they're very much a lot of value decks, value train decks. They just give you a ton of value. Everything, you get so much advantage, so you will take over the game in the long run. And we've had this deck before, all the way back from when Commander first started. So it was Commander 2013, right? Where we essentially got our first kind of quote, first tricolor commander that works with Enter the Battlefield effects.
Who
Again,
was that?
10 years ago, by the way.
Who? What deck was that, or what decks
It
were
was
those?
Commander 13, the Bant deck. For the people
Okay.
out there, it is green, white, blue. It is Rune of the Hidden Realm. So he's a 5 mana 4/4 Rhino that says 2 colors, tap him, exile another creature, another target creature you control, return that to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. So essentially, you pay 2, tap him, you bounce one of your ETB creatures, end step, get another trigger of that ETB's trigger.
Wait, you said 2013?
Yes.
A 2013 Commander deck.
Yeah, he first came out in 2013.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, he came out. Yeah, he came out in Commander 2013, Rune of the Hidden Realm. That was one of my first quote precons that I bought when we had precons before. But that was my first precon. Was the Bant precon? It's basically Bant Flicker, ETB's value train. So I mean, we've had decks like these before. Uh, another. I'm doing comparisons of ETB into the battlefield creatures to explain to the audience that Elesh Norn is nowhere near ban worthy, as Sheldon Memory of the Commander RC wants to try to dictate. In his Star City Games article that got not just review bombed, but it got so much negative feedback from it when he posted this article back in December 22nd last year. So this was a while ago. This is almost 2 months ago when he posted this article. And he actually he edited his article. It's probably 95% the same as the first one. But he edited a few things because of community backlash he got from what he said.
Well, so you can always go to, like, I think, was it Archive Machine or something? Is a website people go to. So if you type in like the original, you type in the link of the article, you copy and paste that into that archive website. It'll actually bring up the amount of times the article was changed, and you can actually go back to the original article and read the original article.
It's good to know. Very
Yes.
good, Mike, for the audience. Yeah, I'm gonna have to actually look at that because I remember I sent you the link the first time this article
Wayback
came out.
Machine. Wayback Machine. It's called Wayback Machine Internet Archive. There you go.
Hmm.
And if you want to, listeners as well as JB, archive.org is the way you find it.
Very good. So for the community complaining about Elesh Norn, we've had legendary creatures that already have Enter the Battlefield abilities. Bant Flicker, Azorius Flicker has been a thing. For the audience out there that doesn't know, should know, Azorius is blue-white. We've had another blue-white commander Flicker that's technically better than Elesh Norn. It's Brago, King Eternal. He first came out in Conspiracy. He's a 2/4 that says when he deals combat damage to a player, you can exile any number of target non-land permanents you control. Then you return them back to the battlefield under your control.
They reprinted that card, if I'm not mistaken, as like a mythic in Commander Legends, right? If I'm not mistaken.
No, he was reprinted in Eternal Masters as a rare, and then
Okay.
he was reprinted again in Commander deck Keldheim.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah, so we've had Brago, King Eternal again, Azorius, blue white, another legendary, another ETB Flicker deck that's objectively just still better than Elesh Norn because you're in blue. Now, if you're running Brago, yeah, you put Elesh Norn in there. Duh. It's just good. She's just that good
Yeah,
to not put in the deck.
that's like putting.
Brago's. What happened?
Well, I was going to say that's like putting Vorniclex, Monstrous Raider, into like an Atraxa deck.
Yeah.
Because he's going to get you double the counters, and he's going to reduce any counters. Well, not that it's a big deal for your opponent, depending on what deck they play. But yeah, you get double the counters.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's what the Praetors do. The Praetors the Praetors kind of think that their thing was always a net positive for you and a net negative for your opponents. They always have two static abilities.
Remember OG Jin Gitaxis?
Mm-hmm.
At the beginning of your end step, you draw 7 cards. At the your opponent can't have a hand size, basically.
Yeah, that your opponent would never have a hand ever again with that card in the field. Yep. The Praetors have had, they just have that many good effects.
Yeah.
So, like this card, Brago, says you can exile any number of target non-land permanents you control, return to the battlefield. So before you enter combat and deal damage with Brago, right? That even works for your mana artifacts like Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, right? You tap them for mana, or you tap them for mana to do something else. You dealt combat damage to Brago. You essentially exile all your non-land permanents that have an ETB, even your mana rocks, main phase 2. Boom, all call back. You literally reset. Now you can use your mana rocks again. You get into the battlefield triggered abilities again. And this is Azorius. This is blue-white. And Brago's been known to he's a part of an infinite combo in the command as a commander. Right? So he's another one.
Does that also work with Mana Vault at all, or no?
Yeah, Mana Vault.
Oh, okay.
Any mana artifact that produces mana.
Jeez, yeah. That's great.
Yeah, Brago. Yeah, you said the deal common damage to Brago, and you says exile any number of target non-land permanents. Any number. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on, I'm writing to Sheldon right now why Brago needs to be banned. Hold on.
Yeah.
The good, the bad, and the ugly of Brago, King Eternal.
Yeah.
This card originally printed in blah blah blah. So,
we had another ETB Legendary Command that came out in Jumpstart, in the first Jumpstart back in 2020, so only about 2 years ago.
I missed out on that set. What's that card?
The card was Emil the Blessed. It's a 4-mana 4/4 unicorn. So the creature looks mono white, but technically it is a mono white creature. But if you build it as a commander, it is a Selesnya deck, because Emil the Blessed has the unicorn's second ability is
tap a forest or plane.
Tap forest plane. Yep. So technically it is a Selesnya commander.
That's cool. I wish they would do more of that. Have they been doing that in Magic Commander at all, or I haven't been paying attention to that?
So like you talking about hybrid?
Like you have a card that's like a mono color on the surface, like Emil the Blessed, but it's like secondary ability, like for tapping land, is like you can tap like blue or you could tap black.
Yeah, some of the new planeswalkers have hype. Well, some of the new planeswalkers that came out, the ones that got completed. I know you hate it. It's just funny. He's like, I hate this show.
I swear, it's just. I feel like Ragnar Lothbrok being about to thrown into a pit of vipers. Yeah.
So the new Ajani, right? He one of his mana costs in his card has a hybrid mana cost. So they kind of done like that's just random things they kind of do.
Okay.
So Emil the Blessed says you pay 3 to exile another target creature you control, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. Yes, you're paying 3, so that is a little bit weaker than Brago, because Brago only needs to attack to deal common damage, and Brago just balance anything. But with Emil, you're in Selesnya. I've had the deck before. You can make infinite mana, and you can just essentially bounce all your ETB creatures for like value, and go infinite and do a bunch of things. Infinite Crater Hoofs effects.
Because that's what matters. You have to put the card in there. It's only because it can only give you value, according to Josh Lee Kwai.
Mm-hmm. Yes, this is the value. Exactly. So Emil the Blessed is another ETB flicker deck. You know what I'm saying? It's like, mind you, these cards I named between Yorak, Rune, right, Brago, Emil, they're all 2-3 color commanders that are objectively it depends how the way you built the deck. If you built your deck the most optimized, right, the most powerful, yes, technically these commanders can be. Or I will argue contention. I think Elesh Norn is better than Emil, even though you don't have white, is because of Elesh Norn's second ability. Because if you were to like do 1v1 game, Elesh Norn versus like any of the other legendary, like if you were to like trying to do a competition, who's a better um, ETB flicker deck? Elesh Norn versus any of the ones I just named, right? Between Brago, Yorak,
Rune.
Emil, or Rune, right? Those decks would have a hard time battling because Elesh Norn's second ability essentially shuts those decks off.
Unless you get rid of Elesh Norn yourself.
Yeah, you have to get rid of Elesh Norn. But and all those decks have white, so like Swords, Plowshare, Path to Exile. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Path to Exile. Draw power. No.
So it's like there's things, especially if you're in Bant, you have blue. You just counter Elesh Norn. If you're in Sultai, you have black. You can just tutor up for a black kill spell, black war ripe, like a good old damnation, mutilate, something like that, right? So there is contention that I do believe Elesh Norn is better in some ways in those certain decks, right? Because of her second ability, since she shuts down those decks, right? But you have 1v1 and see how it is.
But she's not insurmountable.
Yeah. So she's not for all the community. She's not ban worthy at all. Because I can literally name cards for you right now that if you want to technically quote unquote what the community wants to be banned, which they've been touting for at least in the last 3 years, was a card that Sheldon actually mentioned in his article, which does shut down the card, but unfortunately the card's only 2 mana. It is the infamous card Dockside Extortionist.
Pirate monkey.
Goblin pirate.
I thought it was a pirate monkey.
No, that's Ragavan.
Oh, I'm thinking of Ragavan. My bad. Oh, I got my
Hey, they're all chilling on the. They're all
yeah,
chilling in the
you're
boat.
not wrong. You're not wrong. My bad. I take that back. Yeah, Dockside Extortionist, Goblin Pirate. Go on.
Yep. Dockside says ETB create X treasures, where X is the number of artifacts and enchantments your opponents control. This is all artifacts and enchantments that all your opponents control. Yes, Dockside is essentially the best red card. Like the best. So Elesh Norn does shut that down. In CDH, Dockside, number 1. Like is in the top 5 best and most powerful CDH card. Elesh Norn also shuts down CDH, the best and the most fastest win con. The Thassa Oracle Demonic Consultation Tainted Pack line.
The professor's favorite card, probably. Or not favorite, but tribe.
Oh, Merfolks, yes. He loves his Merfolks.
Yep.
Doesn't like winning apparently. I only say it as a stab because anytime I see someone that doesn't play a card because they think it's too powerful, and my automatic response is, you just don't like to play good cards. That sounds kind of dickish, but it's kind of truth.
It's his choice to do that, but it's also, I think, personally, just a dumb choice. Like,
yeah,
I understand not caring about winning, but purposely gimping yourself because, like, oh, that's just too powerful. That no, I'm not going to do that.
Are you trying to be like one of those? Are you trying to be like kind of like a, kind of like the hipster that doesn't like, I don't want a phone. I don't want the new phone. I'm not trying to be like everybody else. I'm going to be my own cool thing. Yeah, no. Don't waste time doing it. It's not worth it.
He's like Mr. Miyagi if Mr. Miyagi was shit.
Mm-hmm. Elesh Norn, she shuts down Thassa Oracle. Thassa Oracle says, "Enter battlefield, I win the game if you can't stop me." Well, not exactly word for word. The ability is a keyword, but for the community,
You sure? You sure that's not what it says? Hold on, let me pull up the card.
I mean, it really should say that. Yep, I have it right here.
I have it right here. Thassa's Oracle costs 2 blue. Creature, Merfolk Wizard. When Thassa's Oracle enters the battlefield, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number where X is your devotion to blue. I can't speak tonight apparently. Put up to one of them on on the top of your library, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. If X is greater than or equal to the number of cards in your library, you win the game. And
So
in
essentially,
parentheses,
you don't have a library and you play Dockside, you win. So how do you have no library? How do you exile your whole library? Easy. You just cast Demonic Consultation. You're playing, so you're in Dimir. You're in blue black. Demonic Consultation says name a card. You flip the top of your deck. You exile top of deck until you put that name card that you named into your hand. So you're in Dimir deck. You cast Thassa's Oracle, ETB trigger on the stack. Cast Demonic Consultation, name Forest. You're in Dimir. There's not a forest in your deck. So you're going to exile your whole deck. Demonic Consultation effects goes off. There's no targets. Thassa's Oracle's ETB trigger resolves. You have no library. You win the game. So it's 3 mana to do. 2 blue, 1 black. That's it. It's the fastest and the best win con in CDH.
So hold on, I'm gonna go make this deck right now. Pardon me.
It could literally put in any Dimir X deck.
Yeah.
You can just mind you, now to play. Now the other card it works with too is Tainted Pack. Tainted Pack is kind of the same way, but Tainted Pack is a little bit different because if you have too many of the basic lands of the same name, Tainted Pack won't work.
Okay, you want to have. Is it more of a? I mean, I don't know if this is the right word for it, but is it more of a budget option? I don't know the pricing of those 2 cards.
No, it's not more of a budget. Tainted Pack costs less money.
Oh, okay.
But in CDH, you're gonna have one of every land, including basic lands,
right?
Because your deck is very optimized, and that Tainted Pack is a 2 mana, so it's 2 mana instead of 1. 1 colorless, 1 black, instant. Exile top card of your library. You may put that card into your hand unless it has the same name as another card exiled this way. Repeat this process until you put a card into your hand, or you exile 2 cards with the same name, whichever comes first. So you don't want to have you don't want to have too many you don't want to have more than 1 basic land of each type in your deck when casting Tainted Pack. So you want 1 island, 1 swamp. People are like, how do I do that? I need islands and swamp. There's a ton of dual lands and fixtures of dual lands.
Also triomes too. Or
if you're playing 3 colors, yes.
Oh yeah. If you're playing 3 colors.
Yeah.
Triomes. You have also, if you're playing Dimir, you have the variety of different dual lands that aren't technically basic lands.
Mm-hmm. Those work. For people that
Slow
don't
lands.
Know.
Slow lands as well,
Yep, any of those lands. For the community that doesn't know, snow lands do count. So if you have a basic island, you have a snow island and a regular island, right? That does not count. That's technically considered 2 different lands for Tainted Pack.
That's good to know.
Yes. Same thing for the artifact lands that came out in original Mirrodin. That the artifact lands that they just tap for the 1 color that it is, those work too. So yes, you can make a deck with only just having essentially 4 basics in a deck if you include snow lands for Tainted Pack combos.
Got you saying it.
Mm-hmm.
So is that pretty much?
It just seems. I say my overall about it, because I've had my gripe with Sheldon on his articles, because he comes off from very sane Magic about his viewpoints on Magic is very subjective, right? And if anything, I think so. A lot of people in the community say Elesh Norn is a net. Actually, I wanted to ask you this question:
Okay, go ahead.
the concept of cards being a net positive and a net negative for a format like Commander.
That's interesting. So if we're talking about net positive for a format, that means it brings something to the format and it helps the format. Net negative, how is something taking away from the format? It's easy to measure when something adds to the format because what it does is, you can measure it in ways of revitalizing certain decks or cards that probably fell to the wayside, maybe help remove cards that are banned because it breaks those types of metas. Like, what was that Traveler artifact card that got banned a while ago?
Traveler artifact.
It's an artifact creature. It's I think it was tied to like the 5 color. It's been a while since I never even played the card, so I don't remember the name of it. But it got banned. How do you measure if something is a net negative? Like, how is it taking away? Is it, like, that's what I want to know. That's my question. Like, how does a card take away from a format? We'll use Commander in this case, JB.
The thing is, that concept idea of something being a net positive and a net negative format is subjective. That's the problem because every time I mention about CDH, everyone's like, "Oh, so you don't like having fun, or you're playing competitive?" And I'm like, fun is subjective, right? And I tell people when they say that, I usually say a snarky comment back. I'm like, I say, "Sorry that you don't like to play good cards. I'm sorry you don't like to play powerful cards. I'm sorry you like to play 3 4 hour games. And I like to play less than an hour games. So I don't have time to sit 4 hours at a table for you to dirtle to just win the fucking game."
So Golos Tireless Pilgrim. That's the card I was thinking of.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
You said Traveler card. I had no idea what you said.
I thought Pilgrim. Pilgrim is a pilgrim is someone who's on a journey, traveler.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
if you had said
that
Pilgrim, I would have been like, oh yeah, that's Golos.
that's the thing. It was originally Pilgrim in my brain, but I thought my brain just triggered to the synonym, which would be like a traveler. So, and I remember he was like a functioned with the 5 colors because of his.
Golos was banned for quote being generically too good and apparently again according to the RC, and just an overall.
So he lost to a Golos. Gotcha.
That's kind of like the meme. Anytime Sheldon loses to a card, he automatically wants to try to ban it. So, like, anytime he makes an article, he always stirs up the community because the last couple articles he's written about, right? He's mentioned Dockside the last 3 or 4 articles he's come out and made, which has me kind of worried that eventually Dockside Extortionist, a card that came out, by the way, in Commander 2018 or 19. Get you to a card right now. Commander 2019 that came out. Now, at that time, it really you didn't think it'd see that much play. But it started seeing play a year later a lot more than it has been. And now it's essentially the best mono red card out there. Like, if you're playing red, there's no reason for you to not play Dockside.
I mean, that sounds like a net positive for the Commander format.
Yeah, it's a net positive. It's a net positive for mono red decks because red on the same idea of white, right? I think before at least Commander, it used to be Sultai used to be the strongest colors combination because Boros or mono red or mono white was always deemed the weakest. The least amount of card draw, the least amount of tutors, right? And it's not flip flop, but we've gotten a lot of more powerful red and white cards over the years where they can now actually they can compete with the other colors, green, black, and blue.
Yeah, because I remember the stereotypical response was, "Oh, if you're a red player, you better sure you beat them quicker than later because you're going to burn out pretty quick." Because
red
that was
decks
the excuse.
Tend to burn. They're fast. They can win the game fast, but if they don't, you lose in the late game. So this is what Sheldon at least said in his current article. I'll read you what he said because it's about that whole concept idea of something being a net negative and a net positive.
Okay, go ahead. What did he say?
He says, in quote, as we on the rules committee have repeated with some frequency, we believe cards being generically good is a net negative format. While it can allow deck builders, as I mentioned above, to explore multiple different types of strategic or thematic lines, the flip side to being generically good means and introduce the sameness to many of our games. The mechanical upside of being generically good is efficiency. That costs us in other ways. Once you get to the point of if you're playing white, there's no reason to avoid playing Elesh, Norn, Mother Machines or insert card name. We reduce our effective deck size by one more card. When 20 or more cards have been decided before we actually start building a deck, quote, staple cards for the people that don't know, we've headed in a dangerous direction. I'm laughing because what?
So
we sacrificed creativity. I'll just read you one sentence.
Yeah, finish it. I'm gonna hop onto this. Yeah. This guy's fucking bonkers. Go on.
We sacrifice creativity on the altar of efficiency. That's good in formats which privilege the mechanical. It's a contrarian position in Commander.
Okay, so this
contrary
is completely
position in Commander. Sorry.
No, you were right. You said it right. A contrarian. You said it right.
Oh, okay. I said it wrong.
No, you're good. You're golden. This sounds like a completely asshat backwards type of response that he wasn't thinking about the humanity of the players. Not every player is looking to be a min-maxer. There are some players who just like to play a certain type of deck. Like, I like, let's see, what's a good example? I can't really think of, most of my decks are, like, okay. So remember that Simic deck? Was it Simic? Yeah, I think it was a Simic deck I was working on a while back. That was just basically a bunch of giant commander deck, like a bunch of Krakens and Leviathans and heavy beat sticks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that deck it had a win con, don't get me wrong, but to pull off that win con, you had to make sure you survived. And to pull it off, right, your opponents would automatically know, I know what the fuck you're doing, dude. Right? So automatically that would paint a target on you. But just because that deck isn't objectively like, a competitive deck, up to the standards like you're saying for yourself that you like to do, I still want to play that deck because I just like playing decks occasionally that are just, silly, beat stick decks,
As for a disclaimer for other people out there and for people I personally know that play Magic with, I don't condone other people for playing any other decks or play styles they want to play. I always tell people my number one rule in Magic: play what you love. Seriously, play what you love.
You mean
But
condemn?
if you're gonna play against me, I would tell you from the beginning, I'm a mid-maxer. A mid-maxer. I play the most objective, the most powerful version of a deck or of the commander of what the deck can do. That's my play style. I like playing good cards. I like playing powerful cards. I like playing stacks. That's me. But I'm not going to judge the people that don't want to play that, right? That's fine, right? It's like you do me, and you do you, bro, and I'm going to do my stuff too,
Yeah. And if you consent to play, because like no one's forcing you to play a game against someone.
Exactly.
If you consent to play a game, you are accepting like, okay, what deck are you running? JB, you're running Elesh, Mami, Norn, CDH level. Like this deck is designed to win, right?
Designed to win fast.
And
not that deck. It doesn't win fast.
And then person B is like, oh, I just have, we'll say my beat stick deck, right? Then my Simic beat stick deck, right? Okay, your deck can trounce over my deck like any day of the week, especially if you get Elesh Norn on the field. Is there a chance I could win? A slim one. But I accept, like if I accept a game against you or the person using that deck accepts a game against you, they have consented to play a game against you knowing well that they could very well lose to you because your deck is tuned.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, it's not that you condone, you don't condemn. So you said you don't condone, which is the opposite. You do condone, but you don't condemn.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was my
No, I just want to make sure because like someone who's listening, someone listening is gonna be like, oh, he says he doesn't condone people using whatever decks they want. Oh, we got him,
Right. Just take out what I said and make it the whole video, right? And
Exactly.
And not watch the whole video. That's like the Andrew Tate haters out there. Okay, haters.
Speaking of which, how is any updates on that?
Still in prison.
Still in Romanian prison?
Still in there for probably close to 6 months. He'll be there soon.
I thought they had like a 30-day thing only.
Now, updated. You have to watch the Just Pilot things, but they have an updated rule. While they're legally looking for something to frame you,
they
can
updated
legally
it.
Hold you in jail for like up to 6 months.
That's fucking retarded.
That is their Romanian justice system. So don't go to Romania if you plan on. Well, I mean, you go if you want to go and visit, but she plan to do shady shit. You probably shouldn't go.
Just tell them you're not there to see Andrew Tate. That's it.
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, you're good.
You're fine. Exactly. You're fine. Oh man. Oh, that's fucking stupid. That's really retarded.
So what do you say? So when this card came out, and this is one of the gripe things I had, even though yes, Sheldon and amongst the other people part of the RC that kind of dictate the commander format as a whole.
So a bunch of magic oligarchs, okay.
Yeah. Mind you, Josh Lee Kwai is on there, but he at least he didn't come public say anything about he publicly said in a thing that Elesh Norn is not ban worthy. He doesn't think the card's ban worthy. So it's just a few people, but obviously Sheldon being the face of it, people are just going to assume.
He probably also lost to Elesh Norn, so
yeah, he probably lost to it and just made a whole big boo-hoo about it. So
you were saying?
that was what I wanted to kind of play more into was cards being so he emailed Wizards of the Coast, right? And it said this quote when he said in his article, as soon as I saw this card, I sent off an email saying, please never print this card. Shortly thereafter, I found out I wasn't the only one of the four of us. This was before Olivia and Jim joined, who had done that. We, of course, then talked about it together, as well as we reiterated our point during the joint feedback. This is not a healthy card for Commander. This card does not look like it's going to offer play positive experience. It's dangerously designed and then pushed mana-wise.
Because God forbid,
Mike, that card is a gun. Watch out, duck.
God forbid, should someone in the fucking Magic community come up with a strategy to defeat this card, which you listed like 4 or 5 cards that potentially are objectively better than the card, right? And also, you mentioned a strategy in which to beat the card as well. So it's not impossible. Like, these people need to fucking stop sticking their heads up their own asses and smell their own fucking farts for once, and realize that, let them print the cards they want. Let the community come up with the strategies, because when you try to from a human standpoint, engineer everything, right? You remove the naturalness of, or the naturalness, that's not even a word, but the natural aspects of the card game.
Mm-hmm. Let the people decide how to do it. I think the community needs to be more proactive especially when it comes to Commander. You need to run more interaction, more cards in your deck that interact with your opponent's things. Instead of complaining every time a new Commander legendary creature comes out that's, oh my god, it's busted and powerful, and you're going to go cry to the RC about it. Please ban this. Please ban this. Be proactive. Elesh Norn doesn't have hexproof or indestructible. A fucking card like Murder, which is this is 3 mana, 2 black, 1 colorless. It says destroy target creature. There are literally cards that say destroy target creature. The community needs to be more proactive about how to deal with, be more proactive and have better threat assessment when it comes to interacting with your opponents. Because for some reason that's kind of like the whole meme thing now. The way is the commander seen as, it's just a group of us, and we're gonna and we're here to just dilly dally around and play these fun cards and these fun bonker meme cards, and we're not going to interact our opponents ever again. No, you play a powerful card. I'm going to either counter it, destroy it, whatever. That's it. So I can try to win the game.
Yeah, like
Winning doesn't mean that you don't have fun. That's subjective.
one of the decks that I'm running, it's not a bad deck. It's one that I'm working on right now. It's that Javala deck, right?
Hmm.
It's like a pure exile deck. Like it makes me like I exile some cards, but I make my opponent exile like 2 to 3 times as
Yeah,
many cards as I
you can
exile.
cast cards from exile.
Yeah.
It's a very Rakdos thing. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine. That's a good deck. I think it's a very good deck, honestly.
Oh, okay. I didn't know because I was just my main thing is just I always love the exile or remove
It's
from
in
play deck.
Grixis, so you can run Thoracle combo.
Oh, I know. I just updated my list.
Yeah.
Because what I do is I look at the commander and then I look at what the commander is supposed to do and what the theme is that I want to do. And my strategy is literally piss off my opponent by removing every card. Like, oh, you wanted to play that card that's in your deck. Oh, whoops, it's been exiled already because I played this card like Mnemonic Deluge, which makes you fucking get rid of like the top bajillion cards in your deck.
Hmm.
No, but we need to ban it because it's too powerful.
Yeah, we need a ban. That's too powerful. Here's the thing. How do you dictate that a card or somebody playing is going to okay, a person can, because if a person has a shit personality, I don't care if your deck sucks or it's weak. If you have a shit personality and you're kind of just rude, I just generally won't play commander with you. Right? So yeah, a person can have a really a negative personality that can affect, because Magic Gathering is a social game. So you kind of need to really have good social cues
So what you're saying
and
is
good interacting with people in person.
you don't want to play against me with my Javala deck
No, I like who you are. That's the thing. So, here's what it says, the interesting sentence, Mike. It says, this card does not look like it's going to offer positive play experience.
That's so stupid. That is absolutely so dumb.
So
I just
technically, right?
there's like no faith.
Isn't any counter spell a net negative, right? Because it counters your opponent's cards. Oh my god, that's terrible. Any card that says destroy a creature or destroy anything on the field, that's a net negative, right? So with that sentence is basically touting me saying anytime I interact with my opponent, it's a net negative. So then we should eliminate any card that says destroy anything on your opponents. We should eliminate. We should eliminate murder, lightning bolt, land
force of negation,
all counter spells gone.
Yep,
No more
all
counter
spells
spells
gone. Yep.
So eliminate blue entirely, right?
Blue is gone.
blue is gone. Oh, land destruction. Oh, take red. Red's gone.
And some wasn't there a white card that did land destruction too, or am I thinking of it? Yeah, Armageddon, right? Or
Armageddon, Ravages of War, and Cataclysmic. Up.
Yeah.
Yep. Destroy. Get it out of here. Yep.
Got to get rid of that. Oh, but what about life gain? Because life gain can be manipulated, can't it?
I miss the old rule of life game where you used to be on the stack. Not a stack. It used to kind of it used to be on the stack where you can. Then they changed it, but that was like more than 15 years ago. So
that's great. That's absolutely fantastic.
Let's see. Green gets all the best cards. We can't allow it. Gets too many good cards a year. Gone, banned.
Too much ramp. Too much pump. You know.
Too much ramp. Too much card draw. Out of here. So essentially, what we should all play colorless decks. Oh no,
you can't.
The Eldrazi's are too big.
Yep. I was about to say
Eldrazi's. They have Annihilator 4, which says the original Emrakul has Annihilator 6. Oh, but as soon as I attack, I have to sacrifice 6 permanents. Destroy 6 permanents? No, can't play that. So you can't play Magic at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop complaining. Interact with your opponents. Be proactive in your games. Elesh Norn is not ban worthy at all because she does shut down the 2 most prominent and broken cards, especially in competitive Commander, right? Which is Dockside Extortionist and Thassa's Oracle. Mind you, she is 5 mana, while Dockside and Thassa's Oracle are 2 mana.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to alleviate to you to get that out, you're gonna want to run some artifacts that are gonna ramp you up, especially the 0-mana artifacts. Your Mana Crypt, Chromox, if you got money, Mox Diamond, stuff like that. You want to kind of ramp yourself up, or Jeweled Lotus.
Oh, I love that card.
You can any deck that's running monocolor commander should have Jeweled Lotus. Granted, I know it's an expensive card. It's about $100,
I
right?
got lucky. I pulled a foil one from a pack that I bought over at a local LGS for me. It's called Undiscovered Realms. Just bought like a handful. It was when I was just getting back into like Magic and about to play Commander, and I was just started making a Turgrid deck, right? Lord of Salt, or God of Salt, or Goddess of Salt.
Chains of Mommy Stophalia, call it.
Mephistopheles. But yeah, I pulled a Jeweled Lotus. I was like, hey, I got the Black Lotus of fucking Commander cards.
That's essentially what it is.
Yeah.
That was another card that, funny enough. So I guess the Command Zone, because they play test cards, they also know about cards coming out about 2 years in advance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they actually said, which I disagree with, because I also just like doing powerful things. If you listen to our podcast, not podcast, if you listen to our adventure, Eternal Champions, right? When I do a lot of combat, I like to do broken shit. So it kind of mirrors my personality when I play Magic. I like to do busted things, right?
You don't say. So you're telling me dual wielding great swords and great axes and smalls and such is
Nah, that's casual, Mike. That just
I define that as casual because I have fun with it.
Exactly. So it's just, and they said Jeweled Lotus is a card that they actually said they don't want. In their opinions, they said you shouldn't design it. But Wizard of the Coast, which I'm glad that they did design it, because Commander Legends was a booster box set that eventually sent around the Commander format. What do Commander players want? Well, we can't play Black Lotus because it is banned in the format, so we should give them the Black Lotus of Commander, Jeweled Lotus. Jeweled Lotus is a very great and powerful card. If you're playing monocolor or even a two-color commander, you should be running Jeweled Lotus in your deck.
Yeah.
Especially if you're playing like me, Elesh Norn. Because Elesh Norn is 5 mana. So if I want to be able to stop Dockside and Dasa's Oracle decks, I need to have fast mana in the deck. 0 mana artifacts. Even 1 mana artifacts like Soul Ring and Manifold that give me more colorless mana to compete. Now, is Elesh Norn objectively powerful than red, blue, and black decks? No, it's not. Dockside and Dasa are 2 mana. Elesh Norn is 5. Do the math. It's just not going to happen unless you're lucky enough to draw and you have Jeweled Lotus in your hand. You got a land. You got some Soul Ring. Manifold,
was it Gemstone Mine or something?
If you're not going first, it's Gemstone Caverns.
There we go. That's what it was.
You can play that land if you're not going first. So, that's how CDH is. But overall, that's pretty much my contention when it came to the Commander community when it came to them complaining about Elesh Norn. And about it being a card of, quote, being something net negative and being a net negative for the format. Because with that concept of philosophy, right, any interaction is a net negative. So I'll read you this one last thing, Mike, so we can move on to our other topics tonight.
We're actually pushing it onto the hour mark. We might actually have to end the episode on just talking about Magic tonight, and then we'll hop into their topics tomorrow, hopefully.
Well, shit, I didn't realize the time.
Yeah, dude, we've been talking about Magic for the past, 45 minutes. But go on, go ahead.
Okay. But hey, that just means more daily nights for our audience. So.
Yes, and, everyone who's interested in Magic can figure out what Daddy Sins himself, thinks about. Daddy, I take that back. I'm not calling you that. Sins.
Yes, Mike. What's up?
Fuck you. Daddy chill. What? It's like, what the fuck is that? I love that video.
Like, Daddy chill. What the hell is even that?
That.
Yeah.
fucking dude look like Prince's obese cousin.
At that point, I don't even know what to call that person.
Go on. What were you gonna say?
I want you to read just a quick paragraph from the Commander's RC page on the philosophy of Commander. Then
Send me
you tell
the
me
link.
what you think. It's on Discord.
Oh, is it the one that you...
These are the two things I sent.
Oh, the top thing. Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
The philosophy of Commander.
Which one do you want me to read?
I'm going to read the first paragraph, then you tell me what you
okay.
what you think of it.
Okay.
For the audience out there.
And we'll end on this note.
Yep. We'll end on this note because we're trying to keep it short, sweet, and simple.
Yep.
This Commander is for fun. It's a socially interactive multiplayer Magic the Gathering format full of wild interactions and epic plays, specifically designed as an alternate to tournament Magic. As in fitting for a format in which you choose an avatar to lead your forces into battle, Commander focuses on a resonant experience. Each game is a journey the player shares, relying on a social contract in which each player is considerate of the experiences of everyone involved. Sus. This promotes player interaction, intergame variance, a variety of playstyles, and positive communal atmosphere. At the end of an ideal Commander game, someone will have won. That's not true. You can end the game in a draw. That's the granted. Yes, that is a very small percentage, but your sentence is saying someone will have won. It's not entirely true, but the chances of that not happening is very small. But all participants would have had an opportunity to express themselves through their deck building and gameplay. Fair. I think you might comment the same thing. I'll see what you say.
So, who are they to dictate what's fun? You know, you can dictate whether something is objectively good or bad, right? Especially in a game like Magic, because of mechanics. Mechanics are how we actually objectively measure how a card, the worth of a card, essentially, within the format. Or in just the game in general, right? They're just talking about fun, what people find joy in, right? That will vary from person to person. Are there some, and that could vary based from day to day, right? There could be one moment where I just want to play like a silly deck, right? Like that beat stick deck with the Krakens and the Simic, right? Or there could be one day where I want to go like balls deep. I'm like, I'm going to make you suffer, Hellraiser style, and play the Javala deck with Thassa's Oracle and Demonic Consultation, right? If I'm not mistaken. Right?
Yep.
I could and also because that card also is red, so it runs Dockside Extortionist too, right? So I could use that deck instead, and I may have fun with that deck that day. It varies. So it shows the arrogance of these people when they think that they can just control what people enjoy and have fun, instead of actually talking about what objectively is good and actually explain in a concise manner what is good and what makes it good, and what is bad and what makes it bad through things that can be measured like mechanics.
Yes.
That's all I had to say on that.
That is very correct. If you look in the sentence, Mike, the sentence that I told you that I said sus, each player is considerate of the experiences of everyone involved.
That sounds like some commie bullshit, if you ask me.
Yep. So when I sit down with my group of friends, I'm not an asshole type person. I'm very outspoken. I'm an extrovert type person. I joke around. I make people laugh. I'm overall a good, positive, fun person to be around. I say a lot of jokes. I try to bring a lot of humor and make people laugh because there's a lot of bullshit going on in the world right now, right? So when I sit down and play a game of Commander, right, how am I in charge of your positive play experience? That's up to you, the individual. Because if you don't enjoy either the deck you're playing or Magic Gathering in general, why the fuck are you playing it then? At that point, then I question you, right? Because my gameplay and my game style should not be judged based upon I have to be considerate of the experiences of everyone involved.
That sounds like some
No,
ESG commie shit. Yeah, go
yeah,
on.
that's it. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, you can
It's like
tell just
everyone
how
needs to have fun. No,
a
it's
a resonant experience relying on a social contract. The social contract that's established, right? And I'll give them this: is you talk to each other. What deck are you running? What deck am I running? Okay, your deck is way too powerful. I'm not going to play against you. I'm going to go play against in that
yeah.
pod over
Do
there.
you have a deck
Boom,
that's
you're
a little bit
done.
less powerful? You do great. Play. Can you play a deck? Sure, why not? You don't? Okay, no problem. Thank you. I will. Go find another group to play.
Yeah, this all revolves about. It's all about control. Okay, it's them wanting to control you, right, from any facet of your life. Even it's kind of funny. We used to make fun of Yu-Gi-Oh about this through a fucking children's card game. The fate of the world is in the hands of a children's card game. Remember those jokes back in the day?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
God damn, man.
that's what this is. This is a card game at the end of the day, just like various other card games of Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh and Waifu Schwartz. It's called Waifu Schwartz, but I call it Waifu Schwartz
So also, okay,
because
going
there's a
even
lot of
further.
sus art on there.
Okay, so we're gonna end after this because I just have to because we're getting to almost like the 115 mark. Um, it says right here the goal of the ban list is similar. It does not seek to regulate competitive play or power level. That's exactly what a ban list does. If a deck like in Yu-Gi-Oh, for instance, or Magic in general, you can still keep it. If a card is deemed incredibly powerful, right, then they decide to ban it. You are by nature, because you are banning the card, you are regulating, right, the power level of the game or the format in this case.
Mm-hmm.
They're contradicting what they're saying. They're just saying a bunch of fucking virtue signaling for clout. Oh, we care about you, the less fortunate. It's like the politicians fucking thinking that people are too stupid, so they need to think for the people instead of the people thinking for themselves. Get the fuck out of here.
That's exactly. You're taking someone else's thought process away from them. Let the community decide. That's the whole of that whole subjective rule of Rule Zero is before you start, which I personally I do not like, by the way, because I think the idea of it, right, is kind of not it's not hideous, but I don't like the idea of Rule Zero because basically what rules is before we start the game, we're gonna talk about okay what power level what power level are you guys are playing on your decks from a scale of 1 through 10. There's a joke the professor says all his decks are power level 7. No one can really dictate what's a power level 7,
Yeah.
right? Obviously, everyone can at least hopefully objectively agree power level 9 to 10, that's CH. They're the most optimized decks right out there. They're
But even then, it's nebulous.
And strongest. Yeah, because it's not perfect.
No, it's not.
The idea of Rule Zero was meant to be, hey guys, I want to play a chill game, nothing too fast, nothing too quick, just straight up battle cruiser. All right, I got a chill level, I got a chill deck, kind of, plays a lot of big stomping creatures. All right, cool. Or hey guys, I want to play a really powerful game, and we do all these crazy synergistic and interactions. Oh, you want to play CDH? All right, I got a CDH deck too. Right? Or it's going to say, hey, let's do basic precons. We have a bunch of precons, no changes added. Let's play precon. Let's play a game of precon decks. Okay, sounds like fun. That's what Rule Zero is supposed to be, right? So what Sheldon says at the end, if you see an article, Mike, Commander is designed to be a malleable format. We encourage groups to use the rules and then the ban list as a baseline to optimize their own experience.
Yeah, I'm not going to bother with this ban list. I want to find out all the cards that are banned in the Commander format. Disregard it, and I'll let people know. Hey, by the way, I might be running a banned deck.
That sentence contradicts this whole page of your philosophy of Commander.
Yeah. Because also, okay. We got to end like in the next 45 seconds, but Commander is designed to be a malleable format. We encourage groups to use the rules and the ban list as a baseline to optimize their own experience. First off, you remove malleability. Malleability. I'm not sure if that's even a word. The malleableness of the format by creating engineering too many rules and too many cards on the ban list. That removes how malleable the format is. It becomes rigid the more you do it.
Mm-hmm.
No, this article is just, you might as well erase everything and just says, we are hypocrites. Do as we say. That is it. There you go. That's their philosophy.
Yeah, no, that's 100%. That's what I wanted to tout and talk about mainly tonight was about Elesh, Norn, and then their idea of their philosophy of Commander, which comes from a very subjective viewpoint. I'm not saying that's not wrong, but you're talking about a card game, a game where you're designed to win. A person having fun is subjective because that is based upon the individual person
Yeah, like what if you
of
have
having their own play experience.
like you have fun from, winning and playing a very tuned deck. Fuck that. Just play whatever
I
the
have
fuck you
fun
want.
playing stacks and playing Armageddon. I blow
I
up your
have
lands. Okay.
I have fun from playing the various tribes that I used to like. Like I want to see maybe one day make a cool zombie deck. I gotta look to see what commanders are really good for that. But
Ooh, there's a lot of
yeah,
good common commanders out there.
I
The
know. I just
Scarab
need
God.
that's I yeah. When my replacement DJ Scarab comes in, I might use that as my commander.
Yeah, the Scarab God's a very good zombie
Yeah,
commander.
Demir, if I'm not mistaken, right? Black blue.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's another thing too. There are a bunch of different decks I want to do, and I just want to make a zombie deck. Do I want it to be super fine-tuned CDH? We'll see what happens with it. My goal for that deck is just to make as many zombies as possible, and Night of the Living Dead style or Dawn of the Dead style, just like
And
bum rush
overrun
them.
your
28,
opponents with a bunch of zombies. That's it.
28 days later.
Or like the quote, one of the best zombie movies of all time, World War. I'm gonna just stop. I couldn't
Get
even
out.
finish that
Get it.
sentence.
Nope. You're out. All right. Out. That's it. Out. Done. Nope. We're done tonight, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Before we close out with tonight's episode, I do want to give a shout out to an indie comic creator who I follow, and I also backed this project called No Cover. The name of the comic creator is Sierra Whiskey. You can go on Indiegogo right now and look at No Cover. It is absolutely hilarious, the story premise. I blurted out laughing at when I read this today, and I'll just read the concept. Join us as we follow our determined hero John Mai Lin as he rampages through the post-apocalyptic landscape of Michigan, looking for his lost in the mail Dale Keown comic book cover. Will John withstand the hordes of blue-haired land whale mutants and the lusty femcells? Will our heroes survive a visit to the Detroit post office? Who else will John find along the way? Back today to find out. And absolutely, folks, I recommend. It's a 60-page book with 58 pages of what they describe as action-packed sequential art. So, and it's not expensive either. You could get a digital copy for $12. Estimated shipping is, well, it's $12 before the fees that Indiegogo puts in, like, tips and tax and all that jazz. For the digital copy, but if you want a physical copy, there is cover A and cover B, and they have there was cover. I don't see cover A on here. Anyway, you can get cover B, or you could get cover A and B. I actually really like cover B a lot. I think it looks fucking sick. Very minimalistic. It has just black and white monochromatic with the like half his face being covered.
If you want to do a shout out, the link for that will be in our episode description on our when we post it on YouTube.
On YouTube, yes.
Yes.
But as I said, it looks awesome. The story sounds absolutely hilarious and right up my alley. And it also says it's estimated to be shipping in September 2023. So that's not that far away. So if you know anyone who is into like indie comics and is tired of reading the drivel that Marvel and DC has been promoting recently, there you go. And that's at Indiegogo.com. No Cover by Sierra Whiskey. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I was joined tonight by my amazing co-host, Daddy Sins.
Yes, everyone, have a good night. We hope you enjoyed our Magic the Gathering episode. I know tonight we didn't get to talk about the Ohio aliens fire and chemical burn.
Also, what else is going on in Tucson too?
Was going on in Tucson, yes. But if you listen to the episode, keep watch because our next episode we definitely are going to be talking about the Ohio fire, the aliens that the government's trying to use to cover up the Ohio fire with, and what was the other topic we mentioned that we didn't get to mention tonight?
That was it. We were just talking about pretty much we wanted to talk about the Ohio stuff and the Magic stuff.
Yeah.
Magic just took over everything.
Yep.
As Magic does.
We'll have something else. If you pay attention to Mike's intros, you'll hear other topic.
Yes, exactly.
That episode, that recording will be tomorrow, and that will be out soon after. So
yes,
keep watch
indeed.
for the other night 7 and 8 coming out soon.
And if you enjoyed what you heard today, please follow us on Twitter at NeonKnightsFM or at Neon Knights Productions on Instagram. And we, as JB mentioned, or Daddy Sins, holy crap, using actual names here. As Daddy Sins mentioned, that's how we know it's getting late. You can follow us on our YouTube channel as well for Neon Knights Productions, where we are uploading both Daily Nights, Neon Knights soon, and also more Eternal Champions as I get to processing those episodes and hammering them out. But with that being said, I hope you did enjoy. And until next time, guys, stay golden.